Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Injective price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. And starting on the 2 hour chart, we have several possibilities for Injective. Of course, we saw a pump for Injective lately. One of the strongest altcoins, of course, after Sui and Render, of course, which it was supposed the first ranking. But yeah, we saw a hacking for Sui, and yesterday delisting on Coinbase for Render, unfortunately a little bit suspicious, right? So we have on Injective 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 first scenario for an ending diagonal toward the upside, where we see, of course, an ending diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitting perfectly the wave 5, ending diagonal between the perfect fib level 0.618 and 0.786, meaning we are potentially very close to the top in Injective here in case we are in an impulse 1, 2, and 3 and a wave 4 given, and of course a very huge wave 5. Another possible scenario is of course that we are in a wave A here in 3 waves, a zigzag, you got a wave B, of course corrective, and you finished as well a wave C in an ending diagonal, meaning this can work also as an A, B, and a C zigzag, or W, X, and a Y, of course, a zigzag, of course, and finishing kind of, yeah, it's hard to call it, of course, wave Y here, unless you get another ending diagonal, meaning you would like to see A, B, and a C. The wave C has to finish as an ending diagonal here. So this is a possibility that you might still get a little bit lower first and then moving toward the upside again in a new ending diagonal, of course, in a lower possibility actually. I see a little bit, of course, that it might move towards the downside right now in higher possibility for a wave 2, okay? Meaning finished here an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The wave 4 did not interfere with the zone 1, which is a good thing. Though wave 3 is short and you got an extended wave 5. So it's a perfect scenario for, of course, a wave 1. Currently, we are looking for a wave 2 potentially, and you would like to see the wave 2 hitting around the 0.38, of course, which is on the logarithmic chart. Now, on the linear chart, it is at $11. On the logarithmic chart is around $10.5. In Confluence, of course, not yet Confluence, we were considering what if we got, of course, an A, B, and a C. It's still, of course, a possible scenario here. And that because you have, of course, 3 waves towards the upside after potential corrective wave. 3 waves up, taking, of course, the wave B as an expanding flat and then moving toward the downside. So as you can see, all the scenarios right now is showing that Injective might have a topped and we move toward the downside. Now, what if we get higher? Well, if we get higher, of course, invalidation of the ending diagonal here is taking the 1-to-1 fib level at 16.5 almost. This would be the invalidation of the ending diagonal and meaning something else is unfolding for higher. And what does it mean higher? Of course, it means something also very bearish. It can be, of course, a wave Y finishing in the top here, where you are finishing, of course, a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a wave 5, meaning zigzag. Another zigzag correction. And that will end up in W, X, and a Y, and a massive move toward the downside, of course, again. And that means, of course, that Injective can still moving for higher, guys. It still can move for higher, but at the end, of course, it's gonna turn very bearish because this is gonna finish kind of like a zigzag, right? After an impulse correction, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Also, it can be a W, X, Y, and a Y. The same as for the ending diagonal small, it's gonna finish, of course, as well a wave Y here, so we have to be careful with it because this is gonna finish a zigzag, another zigzag, and that means very bearish and yeah, possibly to take the low. But currently it is a lower possibility. We don't want to be very bearish. We want to have a wave 2 and then simply continuation impulsively toward the upside. So I would say that Injective in all case scenarios, bullish and bearish, is very close for a top, and we might of course start to see a drop towards the downside very soon. Now if we zoom in a little bit, also we can start to see that this is ending, of course, also kind of like an impulse with an ending diagonal wave 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, potentially formation of an ending diagonal, meaning a little bit much higher prices can be possible to hit the 0.786, 15.5, and then moving toward the downside to finish, of course, this structure finally, and then start the move for lower. As you can see, most of the altcoins right now has started, of course, to unfold their waves 2 towards the downside, except Injective. It's still very strong and stubborn a little bit, but the drop might be very massive, guys. So be careful. It might start at any time, of course, once you finish this small ending diagonal, unless, of course, we see higher prices in validation and we see a wave Y toward the upside. So that will create even much more bearish scenario in, of course, a zigzag, another zigzag, and an X in between. So you have to always be careful with this one. On the daily overview, so we are very bullish on Injective, right? On the overview, we are very bullish. We have three or at least two main bullish scenario where you have a potential impulse wave 1, wave 2, another wave 1 and a wave 2, and we're looking for a wave 3, 4, and a 5 towards the upside. We are looking for the wave 3 potentially, or a wave C, of course. After 3 waves up, you got 3 waves down for the wave B, and you're looking for a wave C. The difference is, of course, the targets where the wave C can hit the 1-to-1 fib level around the $60 and $57, while the wave 3 here can hit the 1.618 around the $90. Now, in both case scenario, you would like to see an impulse, which is, of course, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Currently, we are in the formation of this wave 1. We would like to see this wave 1 finished, of course, and then moving for a wave 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5 toward the upside. And that is going to unfold, of course, in both case scenario, whether the wave C or the wave 3, in both case scenario can be very possible, of course, for this impulse toward the upside. In the bearish scenario, of course, we have finished a short-term bearish scenario. We have hit perfectly the blue box, and we are looking for a potential wave B in case we are in a longer bearish scenario. It might be the WX and a Y that I mentioned right now. In case we get a WX and a Y, be careful. This might play, of course, as a wave B here and then continuation towards the downside after all for lower. So hopefully not, of course. Hopefully that we are in a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. What we would like to see is a small pullback for a wave 2 and then 3, 4, 5 before continuation for higher. While continuation for higher will unfold a double zigzag, of course, with an X, meaning 3 waves corrective and moving for lower later on. Yep, so these are the updates for Injective. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.